Morning. Morning, the Fisk. What's up, Santa? Yeah, um, I did miss the opportunity yesterday because I was being last minute. I should probably sit down every day just a little bit early to make sure that everything is working properly for 7 a.m. I'm not going to take trades before 7 a.m., but I should probably try to be on maybe 15 minutes early. My body's going to hate me for it, but you know, gotta get more sleep. That's all. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go, the Fisk. If I had sat down at 6:45 yesterday and I saw that my charts watcher charts were flashing, then I would have had enough time to at least try to fix it, if not just swap over to TradingView before 7. But not just my charts, I guess, if I'm having any problems with stream or my internet or whatever. Gotta be respectful of everyone's time who are sitting down at 7 a.m. and expecting me to go live, so. Missions in pre-market. Well, there's not for the type of trading that I'm doing, there's not really any free trades anyways, because Trade Zero only offers free commissions, like no commissions on non-marketable limit orders, which means that I would have to have my order sitting on the bid or the ask for a set amount of time before they consider it a non-marketable order. And I don't really trade like that, right? I'm in and out of positions immediately. So the commission free rarely applies to me, if at all, most of the time, even if I'm trading during regular market hours, so it doesn't make a difference to me. Is the per share more expensive? I thought it was just 0.005 flat per share, or a 49-cent flat fee per order. Like it's about $1 and it's about $1 per trade for me right now. I'm not often trading with more than 100 shares. Well, let me look at TradeZero's website. Morning, Zach. Morning, Hilarious. And by the way, keep in mind I'm in Canada, so Trade Zero Canada and Trade Zero US pricing might be different. But on Trade Zero Canada, I don't see a difference between free market and regular market hours. I know you guys have like payment for order flow stuff in the US, which we don't really do in Canada. So I don't think there's a difference for Trade Zero Canada. Morning, Momyo. Oh, you're from Egypt. Wow. People watch me all around the world. Did I share what I started my account with? Yeah, I started with a $2,000 account, but if you're asking that because you want my account size currently as a metric of my performance or profitability, then it would be better to go look at my video that I posted on Saturday, my weekly recap number 3, which shares my performance 1 year into my journey. Since then, we've had a nice string of green days. So we're just above, or maybe just around break even on gross for like 200 and something trades, but still down on commissions. I trade with a commission broker. But I have a $2,000 account, but I generally have been refunding it because like I've been losing on commissions, so I've just been maintaining a $2,000 account. Depositing like $100 here and there. Trade Zero Pro also has a $50 monthly fee. So I mean, let's take a look and see if there's anything that we're going to be watching for a 7 a.m. spike in volume. Nami looks like it has some ascending resistance potentially. This is our second leading gainer. Going to be a bit hard with this big sell-off here. I'd have to come all the way back up to 9. Our top leading gainer is MB, which is another Hong Kong Chinese company, but it's a little bit expensive for me up at $15. And Hive Day is up at $20, so I think I probably would end up leaving this alone. Well, actually, is this blue sky? What is this? Well, I do have to be aware that this is potentially blue sky. On MB. Yeah, this pivot of 16. 1660. And then our third leading gainer is Docs, was too expensive. We have DSY. Maybe the break of this pivot around 709, 708. After hours high all the way up there. Once again, I'm thinking that we have a lot of potential dispersed attention today. We have a lot of stocks that are up. But since we have 3 over 100% and fourth almost over 100%, it'll be a little bit challenging to figure out what exactly is going to be moving at market open. Or not market open, but pre-market, 7 a.m., when a lot of brokers unlock. I'm going to put NAMI and DSY on some side charts. FOMO rewarded you, Corey? So once I'm profitable, how would I go about growing the account? Well, one thing I did think about doing was, morning, Eli. One thing I did think about doing was doing a 2-week sort of thing where I would increase my size every 2 weeks. And because $2,000 is a relatively small size to start with, maybe I would add like $500 to the account every 2 weeks. Like if I'm being consistently profitable every 2 weeks, if I have a portion where I'm like I have a bad couple of red weeks, then I would stay at that size. And if I continue to have bad weeks, then I would size back down and still continue with the 2.5% of my account. But I can increase my size as my account increases, kind of thing. Self-investment while also compounding at the same time. But I haven't yet decided. I'm still in the phase where I'm testing the waters to see if I'm going to maintain consistency here. So I suppose let's see what it does around here. I'm not sure. Like, these are normally too expensive for me, but this is potentially a blue sky setup on MB. Like, did this have a previous move? No, I don't think so. Not recently, anyways. Oh, that candle is 1550. It's got bigger spreads. Morning, Rafi. I'm doing all right this morning. Morning, adversary. This looks like it's just selling off. This isn't up enough on the day. Yeah, it's gonna be too cheap for me. Anything below $1 is a no trade for me. Another Chinese stock. Morning, Mega. Yeah, I do have to leave early, Ahmed. I unfortunately I can't stick around for market open. Um, because I do have a 9 to 5 job. I prefer trading pre-market as well in general because I don't like trading stocks that are just halting all over the place. I feel like I can't manage my risk on them very well. But I see that we've been having a ton of big movers during regular market hours. Hey, Center Star. Morning, NCDs. Good luck to you too, NCDs. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this one because, like if it breaks that, I mean, this is potentially blue sky above 1660. Well, above 20 now because of this previous high, but there must be a bunch of sellers up there. Yeah, IBKR sounds awful. 9 to 5 always getting in the way. But we'll see. Maybe in the future I won't have to work my 9 to 5 anymore. We are almost close to 500 subs where I can set up super chats. Things are starting to look good for my trading as well. Who knows? It's been about a month. Um, a month ago I had 18 subs. We're just keeping at it. Yeah, I heard about that, Drews. And um live trading VODs like this in particular, apparently, would probably get even more because, like, I'm not thinking about the finance side too much. Like, it is in the back of my mind because I do have to consider it for when I do, if I do decide to quit my job or whatever. But apparently, if people are rewatching my VODs over and over and studying charts, that's has a lot of potential for ad revenue and stuff. But I mean, I think YouTube is just going to be, I think, like, I want YouTube to just be supplemental income, just side income for whoever feels like donating if they like what I'm doing. Sure. It would be nice to have trading be my main source of income and then also writing be a secondary source of income. Once I get more time, I'm going to be writing novels as well. Hey, morning, Kingman. May God project the same growth factor into my brokerage account. I have faith in the process. I don't think I need God to bless me. I think I just need to bless myself, and then we can grow the account. Just need to trust myself. Yeah, normally I don't touch these, but I'm paying attention to MB because there's potential blue sky on it, right? Up here. So if it breaks 20, it could go insane. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen considering these big jackknives. Morning, Jay. I made the title FOMO Friday because I missed CLRO yesterday. But we're not going to FOMO into anything. Truck driver, normally 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nope, sucks not being able to watch. I wonder if, like, is your truck that you're driving your own truck that you normally have assigned to you? You can make do like Ross and set up a Starlink on your truck. I stay calm, I have a nice tone of voice. I answer every question like a pro. Well, I did an ungodly amount of work when I first started trading. I tend to be the type of person that when I find something new that I'm interested in, I binge it for like 2 months straight, constantly. And this trading isn't the first example. There was a period where I found fitness and I got really interested in fitness, and that was what I binged for like 2 or 3 months. And then I did actually exercise for like a full year and stuff. That's kind of gone on the side rail since I bought my first house and had to do renovations and stuff. So, but I'll get back into fitness as well when I have the time. Probably start running here soon because Santa's calling me chubby all the time. That's fine. I'm not offended or anything. I just thought it was funny because I used to be a really skinny guy back in high school, and for like a good portion of my life, I was like a twig. But I guess when you get older, your metabolism loses. You lose your metabolism. I was pretty calm when I missed it. I made a comment on my video, my live video. I said that um, when something's not working, I'm kind of like a dog when you get booties put on his feet for the first time. You could probably still walk, but does the dog want to walk? Not really. I'm just gonna stand there, stare at you, angry. So when my charts aren't working, I'm like staring at the thing moving, and I'm like, I'm too uncomfortable. I'm not gonna take a trade. So it doesn't really matter whether it's moving or not because if something's not working, then I can't take it anyways. I probably could have just watched level two, but you know, if I feel something's wrong with the process, then it's just a no for me. Yeah, I'm aware of that as well, the FISC for the fitness thing. Um, Being disciplined outside of your life also helps translate to discipline in your trading as well, and just having more energy. So I'm not sure. This is dumping now. We're still like I'm watching Nami. Nami ended up dumping. DSY is the only thing that's still kind of consolidating under VWAP. Oh, I heard someone break something upstairs. What's going on with this? It's too light on volume. More expensive as well, and I don't see any news on it. Oh, I don't think we're gonna trade VATE. Now DSY is dumping as well. What do I think about using a 10-second chart? Well, not everyone needs to use a 10-second chart. There are some people who use only the 5-minute and the 1-minute charts. That's just fine. There are some people in this chat who only use 1-minute charts. They don't even have 10-second charts. Some people find the 10-second chart to be too noisy. Well, what I will say, Ahmed, is that when we're using charts, we're using it for context. But when we're looking to enter position, we should be watching the level two, right? Some people can watch the level two and get an idea of where things are basing out without a 10-second chart. You just need to watch and see, like, is it holding a certain level? And then you can buy off of that and off of, context in the 1 minute chart. If there's no huge topping tails or whatever, or if it looks like it's about to close, we might get a surge of volume if it's been consolidating around a certain level. You can use a 1 minute chart just fine, but charts aren't the only thing that you're looking at when you're looking to take a position. Level two is very important. And you'll notice that for Ross, even sometimes if you watch him trade on his stream, he won't even have his charts. Like sometimes he will trade and he can trade without even having the charts pulled up, just using the level two. So it depends on your preferences, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying that the 10-second is great for entries and seeing patterns. And I agree, but I don't think it's the only way to trade. Like BATE is, I I just don't think this is the right stock to trade. It's expensive. It has no news. And it's our fourth leading gainer right now. But well, looks like it did better than I anticipated. This pullback here from 13 up to 15. Pretty nice. But you can see how many topping tails we have on this 1 minute chart. I think I'd rather just not touch it. You developed a strategy or style better than how he trades that works for you. Well, any strategy or style that works for yourself is going to be the best one, right? There's no, like, if you trade someone else's strategy but it doesn't work for you, then it just doesn't work, right? And there's a lot of people who can't trade the way that Ross trades or even the way that I trade right now. They might not have the speed or the technical aptitude. So they just have to trade on higher time frames or maybe trade a different strategy. Yeah, that's right, Troy. It's all about consistency and discipline. It's about being objective about your edge. If you have an edge with your strategy and trading it consistently, that's all it is. A lot of people aren't objective if they have an edge or not, though. If they have a particular strategy, you ask them about their edge and they have no idea what it is. That's the only problem. Revenue news? Well, it depends on how much the revenue is. If you think about business valuations, one way to value a business is through their revenue stream, right? So if their revenue only goes up 10%, people aren't going to care about that, right? Traders aren't going to care about that. But if their revenue goes up 200% or 300%, then you might be looking at a big mover because the value of their stock has to go up accordingly, right? It might not be exactly 200 or 300% percentage change on the day, but theoretically, the value of the stock should go up. So I think certain news like revenue probably depends on how much it is. But most revenue news, yes, most revenue news is like we made 30, 20 or 30%. And it's like, well, I don't even trade stocks that don't have a change more than 30%. So yeah, I'm not interested in revenue news that tiny. But if it says like they made 100% or 200% um, more than anticipated, then I might be paying attention to it, see how people react. Yeah, mainly junk stocks. You're not wrong about that, Mega. I suppose another way to think about it is like if they're earning barely any revenue already, it's like, oh, I made $1 million in revenue, right? Like that might seem a lot for us as an individual, but for a company, that's like nothing. So if they have 200% increase in revenue or whatever, and their stock that's done a bunch of recent reverse splits, and their daily looks like it's like 3 trillion or something, and 100% increased revenue just means an extra $1 million. Like that's barely anything. But I normally just watch how market reacts to the news. If it says like 100% or 200% increased revenue, like that looks good, even though when you look deeper into the financials, it might not look so good. Well, the market isn't always logical. I mean, we look at SpaceX, right? Like SpaceX was super hyped up, even though its financials were terrible. If you looked deeper into their filings, and that's why it's selling off now. I think it's more about like how market reacts to it. Kind of get a sense for what the news is, and then figure out how price reacts. Yeah, I mean, I'm being long-winded for no reason though. I generally don't like revenue news either, but I won't discount it. Yeah, so I think we're just waiting for something fresh or for MB to finally do something. Because MB is still holding VWAP and it's our top leading gainer and it has potential blue sky. It's 7:30, so I'm watching for news. I don't see anything though. Someone made fun of my coffee mug the other day, so we're gonna bring interesting coffee mugs every day. This one's got a dog on it, the Christmas dog. And it says Jingle Paws on the inside. Just don't spill it this time. I'm gonna spill stuff occasionally. I try not to, but my mic arm is right beside my table. So whenever I pull my mic arm over, I have to make sure my glasses are out of the way. I have a desk on my right side with my work computer, so I can't really put anything over there, or I would. The last few days, top three gainers have been China stocks. Well, I think that China stocks have been the theme recently in general. Ever since June, we had the China stock pop and drop. since then, everyone's been paying attention to China stocks, which I'm sure Xi Jinping sitting in Hong Kong is elated about. They probably made a ton of money pressing the sell button. But I don't know when the China stock craze is going to end. It's already been a couple of months. It's my time zone, Eastern Standard. Looks like we're going to be waiting until 8 or something, or 8:45, unless we get something pop up at a weird time. See, this is why I wear a hoodie, though. Cold. Yeah, catches me off guard too when it pops up at a weird time. Especially when I'm trying to read chat and I don't expect something to pop up. It's a lot of energy to watch scanners and chat at the same time constantly. Uh, Nami making an attempt at VWAP. I think it's pretty far away though. I think it's bouncing off of that previous level. You can double bottom from the after hours. Wow, nice, Drews. Unfortunately, I would probably never trade at 4 a.m. I would die. It's way too early for me. The only thing I'll say about trading pre 7 a.m. as well is that there are a lot of brokers that restrict trading prior to 7 a.m. So there's not going to be as much volume at 4 a.m. as there would normally be at 7 and 7 to 9:30. So there might be moves, but you're going to be on lighter volume, which can be a bit more dangerous. Market is tweaking. Market's been pretty active recently. Ross's video was interesting on pullback pattern. Yeah, he makes those like he remakes those videos every now and then. I've seen previous videos where he talks about the same thing. Ross, I think at this point he's made videos on most of his subjects, like most of the subjects that people care about listening to. So he kind of just ends up regurgitating the same content over and over. At this point, there's not much else for him to talk about, but I am aware of those 5 points. Don't talk about how much Ross made yesterday. I'm gonna get FOMO. No FOMO Friday. I should change the title to No FOMO Friday instead of FOMO Friday. Oh, there were so many opportunities on CLRO yesterday. This probably would have been my biggest green week ever. Even on the 5th, I missed an opportunity because of my chart problems with TradingView. When I first sat down in the morning, TradingView was not working and I missed an opportunity. Yeah, that's basically what it is, the Fisk, right? Is that his channel is geared towards new traders. So every video he does, he treats the video like someone is watching his video for the first time. I'm $1 million trader. This is who I am. If you don't know who I am, da 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 da. Uh, he probably doesn't, Eli, because he wants value with his education. So he doesn't want to provide live archives on his actual YouTube, I'm guessing, since that's kind of one of the key selling points of his courses. I'm on the trading view charts, not TZ charts. I agree, James. It gives you the sticks and bricks to build a house. I agree. A lot of people, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day as well, because I was considering doing a bit of a longer, uh, more well structured video talking about some of the things that I realized in the past year. And if I were to go back and learn again, what I would do and like what things provided value to me along the way. Definitely one of them was recording my all of my video, like all of my trading, using OBS to record literally everything, and then using those videos to go back and rewatch price action, and at the same time get faith in the strategy by like going through what opportunities there were in the market every single day, building that out on a spreadsheet, and then comparing it with the strategy. Like where would the entry be? Where would the exit be? How much would I have made on this? What was the pattern? Like matching it to some specific setup, checking the stock selection on it. And you realize over a period of time of doing that, spending a lot of time in front of charts, mapping this out, and then mapping it to the strategy, you start to have some faith in the strategy when you see the same things repeat over and over again. So he gives you the sticks and bricks, and then when you sit down and actually work through the charts on your own, then you start to have some faith in it when you see the same thing repeat over and over again. So MB is moving finally. We'll see if it can break 1666. But the problem is that Ross doesn't trade regular market hours anymore. So a lot of that stuff is outdated, Drews, from when he traded a long time ago. You might have like a few videos here and there that are useful for that, but it's definitely not as extensive in his free content for his live trading. Hey Chimera. Yeah, you have the same problem, the missed opportunities. Yeah, it's that fear of loss is keeping us from pressing the button when we don't trust ourselves and we don't trust the process of the strategy. And part of it comes from experience and seeing the same patterns over and over, as I just mentioned. And then part of it is just trusting your own ability to analyze the charts and understanding probabilities of the market, knowing that even if the setup maybe isn't perfect, maybe it still has edge. Maybe if you still execute on that consistently, It's over the long term is still going to give you profits, even if you lose that particular trade. Every trade is unique. The market can really do anything. That's one of the key points in Mark Douglas's book, Trading in the Zone. But as long as you see the market in patterns and probabilities, you trust yourself to execute on the process, and you trust in your edge, then over time, I think we can work on our fear of loss and press the button when we need to. Cloudy's small scalp, and he's scalping in and out with 40,000 shares. Yep, just a small scalp. Feels like he's attacking you personally when I'm scalping with 50 shares. Charts are better in TZ1. Well, I generally don't like web-based platforms. I prefer not to trade with web-based. I would rather have a desktop application. I say that, and I did trade with um, like the day trade dash stuff for a while, which was web-based, but I don't know, it feels wonky to me trading with web-based stuff. Even the day trade dash felt kind of wonky sometimes. Yeah, probably the reason why Corey is using it is because I think he said that he lives internationally. I don't remember exactly where, I apologize. But Corey said he lives internationally, which is why he uses IBKR. Probably doesn't have many options, right? Which is kind of unfortunate. Yeah, living in Turkey. I may live in Canada and have a lot of the US brokers restricted from me, but at least I don't have to trade with IBKR. Sorry, Corey, that's not a shot at you. But if I only had IBKR, oh man, I would be enraged. I'm super particular, so if things aren't working on me, I'd be calling up IBKR and yelling at them. Yeah, I don't think a lot of countries don't want they probably don't want their money flowing into the US stock market though. A lot of countries around the world probably hate the US right now. We got 6 minutes to 8 a.m. here. What is the best, IBKR or Trade Zero? Well, are you in Canada or are you in the US? If you're in Canada, I have a video that I released on Saturday talking about my setup and some FAQs of why I trade with Trade Zero. But if you're in the US, there's better brokers than IBKR and Trade Zero. Neither are the best. Yeah, I think Lightspeed is probably one of the best in the US for small cows specifically because of their execution speed and like their customization is insane. But they're pretty expensive. There's a reason why Ross trades with Lightspeed. But of course, I'm not, I can't test any of this stuff, so I can't speak from personal experience. And I think DOS Trader is pretty good at the same time. Like if there's any brokers that have availability with DOS, I think DOS Traders, because DOS is a standalone software specifically designed for active day traders. I think their customization options are supposed to be pretty good. When I go to Centerpoint Canada eventually, probably will be trading with DOS. DOS plus Stream Deck. I have a Stream Deck. I don't have it set up right now, but maybe I should. Do I make money with commissions versus free commissions? Well, one thing I'll say, Steve, I've said this and the reason why, like on the video that I made on Saturday, and why I trade with a commission broker rather than a commission free broker. One of the reasons is because I'm Canadian and I don't have access to a lot of good commission free options. My only commission free options are Webull and Questrade here in Canada, Webull Canada and Questrade. But neither of them offer all of the tools that I believe that I require for my strategy to execute well. Advanced hotkeys, proper real-time time and sales, proper level 2, and like access to certain things like halt resumption prices and lull D levels, limit up, limit down levels on the level 2. The main one being advanced hotkeys, and then there's execution speed as well is also a factor. But with faster execution speed and with advanced hotkeys to get in and out of positions quickly, and also just the extra advantages of the time and sales, I feel like if I don't have those versus having them, I would probably save some cents per share here and there. which would pay for the commissions on its own. And I don't trade very much. I trade a few times a day, so the commissions to begin with aren't that bad. And my entries really matter. So that's how I feel about it. So I see you retracted your message and then you posted again. Hopefully you heard that explanation. So we have 8 a.m. coming up here, so I have to watch for news. You live in New Zealand? NZ is New Zealand, right, Troy? It's pretty cool having viewers from all over the world. We got someone from Egypt, we got someone from New Zealand, someone from Turkey. AGBE is from New Zealand. Very nice. Kentucky, Texas, Montreal. One of my friends lives in Montreal. He's a chef, or he was a chef. Now he runs a painting business. Good old Texas. Another one of my friends is moving to Texas soon. Ethiopia. Wow. Kind of like gaming. I was always amazed at the range of people you would meet gaming. How the internet brings people together. I'm watching for news here, but I'm not seeing anything pop up on the scanners. Nami making another attempt up here. I'm not sure about this stock. See, we kind of have a level of resistance around 730 to 750. If Nami pops up. You think it's going to be a no trade day? Don't jinx it, Ahmed. We've had at least one opportunity every day of the week so far. Friday can't break the streak. commissions aren't that bad, set as per trade. Yeah, it's pretty much the same for trade zero, about $1 per execution. Like 50 cents on a buy, 50 cents on a sell type of thing, usually. About $1 per trade. Like if I take 2 trades per day on average, that's just $2 of commissions. But you've seen the green days that I've had recently is like in between $15 and $60, and I can only make the green days bigger in the future because I still consider myself to be like a novice. I can make these green days way bigger once I start getting into scaling in and out of positions a bit more, like adding to my winners. And I have 19, my tally since July 27th is like 19 misses, maybe with some adjustments when I go over my VODs this week. I've had a good green week, but so far the green week has been with a ton of missed opportunities as well. According to the the rigid rules of my strategy even. You found that Fridays are the best no trade days? I will say that it kind of sucks having a red day on Friday, especially if it's a big red day, because you're holding that resentment over the weekend. It does suck. One of the strategies that Ross teaches is kind of scaling in and out of the week. So you start on Monday, you get a good green day, like like a small green day for a cushion. On Tuesday, you start scaling up your position size a little bit. Wednesday, you kind of hit the peak with your position size if you had a couple of really good days. And then you scale out a little bit. You scale down on Thursday and Friday to protect that. Kind of interesting. Ideally, I think that we would trade like algos all the time and we would have no emotions and we could just trade the strategy as it is without any fear of loss or any loss affecting us, but we're still human. Yeah, I'm not sure about MB now. I mean, it's just been popping up and jackknifing, popping up and jackknifing. Maybe at some point it could break and pull away if it continues holding VWAP with a blue sky, but I don't know. Ocean One probably would have been my next choice if it wasn't banned in Ontario. Because I think Ocean One has DOS Trader as well, doesn't it? The Fisk? Yeah. Ocean One is available in other parts of Canada. Available in Canada. Jesus. But not Ontario specifically. Otherwise, I'd probably be using it right now. It has DOS, and I think their execution speed is decent. Oh, and BC too? It's lame. I pronunciated it as a Turkish guy would. Words are hard. So DSY is just selling off. Now it's a bit pulled back a bit too much. We got so many penny stocks up here. See that this HCWC has a lot of volume. It's right underneath the 200 moving average at 35 cents. 34.52. Hmm. Pretty expensive for DOS, $150 USD. Kind of crazy. It's possible, Chimera. I wouldn't be surprised. That's fine by me. That just means that eventually when I do switch to center point in DOS, then it'll be an easy transition. Ugh. I keep seeing this trying to pop up through VWAP. I'm not sure if I would trade it even if it did pop through VWAP. I think let's evaluate. Chinese stock with no news. Our second leading gainer. I don't know. I'll just have to see what it does. There's not really anything else in focus right now other than that penny stock. I am worried that that penny stock is moving at the same time, so there's not going to be enough volume on this. We have higher volume selling on the 10-second candle right now. I don't know if this is going to hold. So we'll see. Maybe if it gets up over 750. But I still see some sellers popping up, trying to short it off of VWAP. Aussie is moving. It's another Chinese stock. This is a pop and drop stock. Not quite up enough on the day. And we have attention split between three things right now. Letter of intent. I don't usually like letter of intent news either. This isn't up enough right now for me. Welcome being human. You're a Canadian trader too? Yeah. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I agree being human. I don't know why they impaired their software for Canadians. I guess they think we're too stupid to handle advanced hotkeys. I would seriously consider using Webull if they had advanced hotkeys, because then the only other issue that I would have with it would be its time and sales. Because apparently they improved their execution speed recently, according to some people who have mentioned Webull. Oh, yeah, maybe. That is possible. If there were really a ton of Canadian traders, then I think more US brokers would be interested in getting a piece of the market and registering with Zero. So Aussie has a little bit of volume, but I remember this stock being choppy in the past. And today, it's not even in the top 10 leading gainers up here at 20%. We need to get over 30%, I think. Maybe if it breaks high day, but I don't know. I don't really like letter of intent news either. I think this is probably a no unless it starts pulling away. This doesn't have volume. It's still consolidating under VWAP. Patience testing day, exactly. Ignore the title. This is no FOMO Friday. No FOMO Friday. We're being patient and we're not jumping at anything that we don't need to. Ugh. 10 minutes to 8:30. Tasty trade? I've never heard of tasty trade. Do we finally have something moving? Well, I can't seem to hold VWAP very well. Oh, there it goes. Ooh, a big drop. What exactly is going on with this? It popped up to 780, pulled back all the way back to 7. Now we have a tweezer top up at 780. And I see it being a lot of selling as it's popping up. It looks like it's going up anyways. Morning, Daraki. Huh. Very interesting. So we're at high of day. Now it's bumping into that ascending resistance. Not sure if I want to take a trade up here because it's a little bit extended And we're right up against ascending resistance with a topping tail. Let's see, maybe it gives us a 1 minute pullback. The low of that candle was 860. Interesting. Very whippy. Hmm. I don't know. I'm watching for an entry, but I don't see any clean ones. With all these topping tails up here. The high was 975. High volume selling. New high is $10. That was a higher volume selling candle in the 1 minute as well. Hmm. How long have I been trading? Just about a year. Just a few days over a year. Oh yeah, no problem being human. I'll probably make some more videos like that in the future as I continue refining my strategy. Nami is like very, very choppy. Like I'm genuinely afraid that I'm gonna get chopped out if I take a trade on this. If it breaks through 10, I might take a position because we're potentially gonna break that daily candle of 1050. And then we have room up to 15. But I'm not sure. We're pretty extended on the 5 minute. Moved from 750 all the way up to 10. Like when it broke here, back here, It popped through to 780 and then pulled all the way back to VWAP, like almost a big jackknife. And then it's been topping tails all the way up, on the way up there. Oops. I'm 30, Yeseni. Well, at least you're green, Kingman. Green is good. Yep, I look younger than I actually am. So it's 8:30. This doesn't have enough volume yet. Probably the only clean entry here was as it popped back up and did this sort of ABCD pattern. The lopsided ABCD pattern on the 10-second. Other than that, everywhere else just felt like it was chopping around. With topping tails. But when you look at it, right, when it was forming, like 780, pulled all the way back, all the way up, all the way back. I don't know. I'm not sure whether to add that to the missed opportunities tally or not. I think it's kind of close. I think the question is whether it has EV. And at the same time, I was also paying attention to the fact that there were other things moving at the same time. Like there was still that penny stock moving as well, taking up a lot of volume. So if I take this trade, like not in the future, what percentage out of 10 times is this going to be a winner? And I'm not confident on the answer about that. If I'm not confident about the answer, then probably the best thing is just to stay out of the trade. Even though this made a huge move from 750 all the way up to 10. still a no news stock that's been chopping around all day. Like if you look back here, right? This thing has a history of jackknifing. That was below VWAP. But back here, like this thing has a history of rejecting. I don't know about it. I think I'm not going to add this to the missed opportunities tally. I think I'm just going to say that it was a move. It happened. But I think the right choice was probably just not to touch it because it wasn't moving cleanly. DSY is moving now. Right at that pivot. This is doing the same thing the other stock did. It's just being really choppy with these high volume selling candles on the 10-second. We're right underneath the 200 moving average at 820, which is the after hours high as well. There was a flat top ABCD on the 1 minute for the break of VWAP. Well, this is more than an ABCD. Yeah, I guess this would be more like a flat top. But when it passes a pattern, so for example, right, the ABCD on this was on this candle here, but it's still rejected anyways. So it passed an ABCD pattern, and it still like it rejected the pattern. If you zoom out, like it did have higher volume buying and selling, but like a tweezer top on the 5 minute. And it rallied anyway. I'm not entirely sure about that one. Yeah, I was selling off. Oh, Ross lost 50K on DSY. He says bummer. Yeah, it's quite ironic. I lose $20 and I say bummer. I would like to be in the stage that Ross is in some days where 50K is a bummer. But this is kind of a 5-minute bull flag here on Nami. MACD's still negative though. So this is a bull flag with a spinning top now. Which isn't as nice looking. Yeah, it's a matter of perspective, isn't it? I think that part of our psychology is quite interesting. The relative value of money to every person is different depending on where, how much money you have. One day, one day we're all going to be millionaires and the brokers are going to be banning us for making too much money. So MACD is starting to curl positive on this. But we still have this ascending resistance and $10 to punch through. Nice job, Slaba. Up 10%. MACD's still negative here. MACD is very close to curling positive. Low of the pullback is 913. I don't like how the buying volume is very close to the selling volume on this pullback. It works there. What does it do up here near 10? I don't know. It's really, really choppy. It might be a no trade day, honestly. We're seeing a lot of choppy price action today. Like if you're quick enough, you can get in and out with quick scalps here. But the selling volume is very close to the buying volume in a lot of this. Like I'm seeing sellers popping up and stuff. Like here, maybe like a buy of 965, you could have got out with this quick scalp up to 10. But it just doesn't feel like a clean stock to trade. You look at the 5 minute and it looks disgusting. Looks like an upside down cleat. Hmm. Still red for the week, but you're getting there. You might need to set one thing I would recommend probably would be setting a max number of trades per day. If you have big spiral red days, probably need to protect yourself there from blowing up your account. Been green going into a weekend 3 week vacation from my main job. Sometimes I feel the same way, but I've been trying to be more process focused rather than profit focused. Like if I have a red day today, it would suck, but I try not to think too much about it anymore and just focus on taking opportunities as they're presented to me. It is difficult though. I'm trying to be objective about my opportunities here. I'm thinking that I probably should have taken this pullback for the scalp up to 10, but I think this is a B quality stock. But I don't know. There is that lingering in the back of my mind, like, don't want to have a second red day going into the weekend. Like if I trade this B quality stock and I get smoked on it, then I'm gonna say, well, I just shouldn't have traded the B quality stock, right? In hindsight. But now in hindsight, it's like, well, it did work. Maybe I should have traded it just to get a green day. So hindsight is kind of 2020. So I think the only thing that we can really do is just take good opportunities as they're presented to us. And I didn't really feel like that this was a good opportunity. It just felt like a choppy opportunity, like a B quality opportunity. Probably, I would say one of the best things that you can do after having a losing day is focus on the next day. If you're bringing your losses into the next day, is just focus on A quality opportunities and setups that you don't end up in a spiral. Like if I take another red day today, trading B quality stuff, then it might come back on Monday and my confidence will be shot. I see DSY curling, but sometimes can I do scalping trading? I prefer not to do scalping right now. I prefer to focus on taking the best quality trades that have the highest risk reward. I'm still missing a lot of those opportunities without even scalping. But once I start getting more of those opportunities, like those missed opportunities become less and less and less, then I'm going to start focusing on making my green days bigger with extra scalp trades here and there, adding to my winning positions, things like that. But for right now, I'm not really interested in taking small scalping trades. But that's a future type of thing to add to my winning days. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Troy. I've said it before, but I'll say it again because it's one of the things that really resonated with me in Mark Douglas's book, Trading in the Zone, was how he talked about how we're not here to force money out of the market. We're here to make ourselves available when the market presents opportunities to us that fit and align with our edge and our strategy. So just because NAMI moved doesn't necessarily mean that it aligned with my strategy. And I'm not going to, you know, Frankenstein my strategy to try and fit what the market did because I'm not here to make money. I'm here to follow a process. And I thought it was a B quality opportunity and it just was being choppy. So I'm not going to force a trade on it. Easier said than done. I don't think I can set a max trade. I want to cap my upside on big momentum days. Yeah, but you also want to extend your life in the market to be able to sit down and watch charts for as long as possible, right? That's our goal as beginner traders, is not to make money right now. I mean, you're thinking in terms of upside when you should be thinking about your downside right now while you're still a beginner, in my opinion, right? If you blow up your entire account in one day because you go on a spiral, then how do you continue trading when your account's gone? You know, a lot of traders end up leaving the market because they lose their accounts and they get dispirited, right? So I think you don't want to cap your winners, but you do want to cap your losers. And at a certain point, like when you've lost a certain amount of money or you've had a certain amount of losses per day, maybe do some self-reflection. My recommendation: do some self-reflection and identify the exact point where you might have a tipping point normally. So if it's after like maybe that's where you three losing trades and then you have a high risk of spiraling, maybe that's where you stop. Or if it's a certain dollar amount, maybe that's where you stop. That's just my opinion though. Everyone has different risk management strategies. I'm not going to tell you that what you're doing is wrong, because everyone has their own way of dealing with it. But I think the overall goal should be for a beginner trader, for us as beginner traders, is to extend our life in the market as long as possible, so that we can sit down every day and watch charts and get experience. We don't want to have a disaster happen where we can no longer continue what we're doing. So reflecting and improving, the struggle with discipline, not fitting a winning behavior. I'm actually improving overall by trying to become profitable. Yeah. Well, profitable isn't synonymous with winning. Consistency, I think, is synonymous with winning, being a winning trader. Profitability is the byproduct of consistency and trading an edge with consistency. So I think that's what you're trying to say, right? That might be what you're trying to say. You know, all areas of your daily life, sleep, food, fitness, if you do those with consistency and you focus on it one step at a time, then I think you'll eventually get there. I spiraled many times without knowing it. That's a difficult point. Now I can recognize myself. Yeah, exactly. It's good to know the points where you've kind of reached a point of no return and that your logic and your rationality is impaired. My spiral is going from green to quarter green on the day. Yeah, I used to have a half loss back rule. So like if I would reach my daily goal and I lost half of that back, Like, let's say my daily goal was $50 or something, right? If I lost half of that back, then I would stop trading because my judgment would become impaired at that point. I could no longer trade um, at my maximum, like at my max performance. Same with my max loss rule. Like once I hit $50, me personally, 2.5% of my account, like above $50, um, then I feel like I'm starting to look for things that aren't there, for opportunities that just aren't there. There may be C quality opportunities that get me in more trouble because I want to make it back. But money isn't the problem, more about the self confidence of it's worth it to continue. Well, it depends on how much money you have, I suppose. If you're trading with an amount that's not going to hurt you, then that's fine. Like if I lost my entire account, it'd suck, but it's not a big deal to me. It does add up for some people, but um, some people they trade with huge, huge size right off the get-go, and I think those are the people who are very, very in danger. Like someone who's trading with a 25K account, if that's like most of their savings, the loss would be really devastating. Now, I will say that there are some people who have done this, and including Ross himself, and that sort of experience after they've lost everything is after they have had the ability to pick themselves back up from that sort of devastating loss and realize that everything is still going to be okay. Um, like both Mark Douglas and Tom Homan talk about their experiences where they lost almost everything and they still picked themselves up and they turned it around and it really snapped in their psychology. Something changed and it changed their perspective on money. But that's something that's not so easy to recreate and definitely not something to recommend. Have a good one, the Fisk. Yeah, no problem, Slava. Like I said, these are just my opinions, so I'm not trying to force my opinions on anybody. Everyone has a different way of doing things. So hopefully my input is helpful, but I don't expect anybody to take my word as law or anything like that. I'm still struggling myself. I mean, you look at how this stock is behaving, and it's just I don't know. I think this is going on my no trade list. Even if this pops up through 10 now, I don't think I want to even touch it unless it just suddenly goes parabolic, but it only has room up to 16 for the 200 EMA. All right, have a good one, Tom. Nice job on your green trade. That's good being human, yeah. Yeah, 4 months is still pretty early on, so it's good that you've found a good rhythm to continue learning. You don't stop till 9:30, Mara? Yeah. Well, I've seen stocks pop up on Friday before at after 9. I'm not going to discount it, but I'm not optimistic. SBFM starting to move a little bit quickly. Launches amoxicillin in Canada. It's only up 25% right now. Still a bit cheaper. We have some very high selling volume days back here. This is another one of those garbage reverse split stocks. How high does it go? 500 million. I don't think that this is gonna pull away. We got a garbage daily. We got, you know, kind of a fluff headline. It also like it had the same headline on the 4th. Yeah, it is definitely lonely if you don't have a community to trade around with. That's part of why I started streaming. Oy. MB is curling back up a little bit. I have been watching this one all day because this is potentially a blue sky set up above 20. But the question is whether it can get there. It's still our leading gainer for the day. Blue sky setup means that the stock is at all-time highs. Like it's never been a higher price and there's no upside resistance. Sellers. So the blue sky on this, if you look at the daily chart, its all-time high was above around 1660 or so. It popped up pre-market up to 19, right? It broke that blue sky level, but it failed to hold up for whatever reason. Maybe the volume is too light. Like 20 is a pretty heavy psychological level of resistance. So maybe there just wasn't enough volume to hold it up. But above $20 is all-time highs on this stock. And what we usually see with blue sky setups is that they tend to go parabolic. Some of them have made huge moves. There was one stock last month, I think, PLSM, that was a blue sky setup, and I made like 100 and something dollars on it, like $130, because it moved from $8 up to like 18. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'll open up PLSM to show. I'll watch level 2 in case this does suddenly move. You see on PLSM on this daily chart here, its previous high was like above $10. Probably this candle, which was on the 24th of June, was the day that we had that blue sky set up. If I go to date range, I open it up for June 24th, for example. This was the blue sky setup that I traded. It went all the way up to 20, right? When it broke 10 here, it had one micro pullback, two micro pullbacks, and then it just went parabolic from $11 all the way up to 20. I still have all of my markers and stuff on it. So, an example of blue sky. Undo the date range. Do I have a leading loading gainer download link? Check my video on Saturday if you're looking for my charts watcher imports. I have an import link for my charts watcher in the description of that video. Yeah, the world's biggest economy is being played like a video game, pretty much, right? And I agree, Chimera. Um, at a certain point, we kind of need to step away from Ross and trust in ourselves and our own ability to analyze. Because if we rely too much on someone else to do our analysis for us, then we start having a lack of trust in ourselves. Like if, for example, if Ross is away from his PC and grabbing a coffee and something pops up, back when I used to listen to him, I would hesitate to even touch the stock until he was back. Like that's that's not a good mentality to have. So at a certain point, I had to step away from him, where I became too over reliant on his commentary. So it doesn't look like that this is gonna do anything before market open. But this is another Chinese stock, so keep in mind that this one has been holding up all day and is our leading gainer. So we've been having some big moves recently during regular market hours. This does have the potential of, not financial advice, but this does have the potential of going crazy at market open if it doesn't dump. Yeah, one of them could. We just don't know which one. I wouldn't be surprised, Gamera. There are a lot of shady underwriters for some of these Chinese companies. Hoping they do some Chinese things. Well, when you look at the 5 minute, it certainly did some Chinese things earlier. When you look at this red candle, this certainly looks Chinese to me. And this one back here, and this one back here too. That looks pretty Chinese. I just be careful that that's not the Chinese thing that's going to happen to you. Let's hope it's the green side, not the red side. Yeah, H.C. Wainwright. Yep, the good old H.C. Wainwright. I don't know. Today might just end up being a no trade day for me. We're 7 minutes to market open, and we've got all these choppy Chinese stocks. I'm not sure. Is Ross still online? Is he still red on the day? Let me open up his stream. I haven't opened it up in a while. Oof. Yeah, he's offline now. Red 73K. Yeah, I mean, if even the god is having trouble making money today, then I think it was the right decision for me not to take any trades today. It's a big ouch. Yeah, well, you need to pay for his community environment, which is pretty expensive. You get it for free, 1 year for free if you buy the Pro Education. Otherwise, you have to pay for it standalone. FEMY is popping up here. 925 news, 30 million private placement. Okay. Private placement, like back in December, like what was it, October, November, December 25, private placement news used to be a theme, but now it's just like a dump signal, apparently. Not sure Ross would be making money if he didn't have his following. Ross makes most of his money on parabolic momentum, which his following would not have very much effect over. Ross is very good at reading level 2 and getting aggressive when stocks are making big moves. And that's where he makes most of his money, right? I'm not going to say that there's no tailwind on some of the other trades that he's taking, but if when he shares his statistics, those $200,000 green days, 40,000, 50,000, $60,000 green days, like that's where most of his money is made, and that's made on parabolic momentum when he's being really aggressive. So I think it would be foolhardy to say that anyone can do that if they have a following. I don't think that's true. Conditional orders? You mean like Trade Zero has stop orders, stop limit orders? Like there's some other stuff here that I haven't tried. Um, Stop limit, trailing stop, market on close, range, on close, limit on close, pegged. There's a bunch of different stuff here. Um, I guess you can't see that, right? On the order types. We got a bunch of different stuff here, but I haven't really tried all of it. And there's some other stuff here, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and I really respect Ross, and you know, like I said, I do believe that sometimes on lighter volume stocks, he might have a bit of a boost to his accuracy by people who are blindly following him. But that doesn't diminish my view of him. What he teaches is genuinely good stuff. And I also don't want to keep harping on that and talking about it all the time because this is a question that like it pops into my stream like every day or every other day. And if I keep repeating myself, people are going to take the negative side and run with it. And I don't really want that. So, I mean, I might just start um, answering that question less and less. Maybe I'll just refer them to the one Lance B's video about it. The one Lance B made a good video about Ross. He talks about how Ross is, the stuff that he teaches is genuinely legit, and Ross is a good trader and a legit trader, and he talks about the right stuff. There, it is a little bit like pouring oil on a fire on some of the lighter volume stocks, but where he makes most of his money is um, in parabolic momentum, where he's not as big of a factor. That's what I believe about him, at least. There are plenty of other traders who make money with small cap momentum trading something similar. So yeah, MB ended up dumping instead of breaking 15. PSY is dumping. All right, have a good one, Eli. Opinion on his scanner for the price? I think his scanners are really expensive. That's why I'm trading with Charts Watcher now. I used to use his scanners in his charts. Well, mostly scanners because I have a problem with the embedded trading view engine in general, both Charts Watcher and Warrior Trading. But I used to use his scanner for a long time, and it's just really really expensive. Otherwise, it's really good for people who like out of the box type of stuff. You don't need to do any nonsense setting it up. It's all set up for you. You just pick whatever scanner you want. If you're trading like Ross, and great, it's plug and play. You don't need to do anything or worry about anything. But if you like customization and you like uh, making adjustments for your own strategy and you want to save some money, then probably I would recommend Charts Watcher over Day Trade Dash. Have a good one, Kingman. You see LZ moving, but it's right underneath the 200 moving average at $2. The only thing that gets you with Ross is that only a very, very small percentage. Well, that's generally true with trading, right? 90% of traders are unprofitable. 8% are only like slightly profitable, and 2% are only consistently profitable. And for reasons that I think are outside of his control, right? You can't teach someone psychology. You can only give them resources to improve their psychology. Psychology is the reason why most traders fail. And psychology is different person to person. You can't really create a course to address a blanket of a community's psychology, which is kind of unfortunate, but I don't necessarily blame him for that. And he makes it very clear that the majority of day traders fail when they sign up for his courses. Yeah, CELZ is our fifth leading gainer. It's continuation from yesterday. It has, if it breaks two, then it does have room in this window, all the way up to like 480 or so, 472. But it feels a little bit extended on the 5 minute if it were to break two right here. Like I don't think that it's gonna break two yet. I think it might need to do a little bit of a consolidation under here. And then after it consolidates under two, eventually if it breaks, then it might have some strength to continue moving. But short sellers are probably going to be pretty aggressive off the 200 moving average up here, if I had to guess, right? Probably need some consolidation to get the strength to actually break that level. You're a systematic trader? Yeah. So like just imagine, right? It doesn't matter for example how if you got someone to sit down and trade a strategy perfectly, if like one day out of every 2 weeks, that person just goes off the rails and loses half their account because they're incapable of following rules. Some people's psychology are set up in a way where they're just actually incapable of following rules. And they don't know how to stop. Obviously, most people aren't going to be that extreme, but people's living environment growing up means that they have different views and different beliefs, and everyone's unique in their own way, and that can translate into their trading in different ways. Someone who's very reserved and afraid of failure might have an issue with fear of loss and getting into trades and actually taking losses. Whereas someone on the opposite end of the spectrum might have a problem with overtrading and FOMO and jumping in and sizing too big. And if you can't be consistent enough to prove a strategy, then there's also the issue of some people who are incapable of self reflection and looking inward and realizing that the problem is themselves and not the strategy. They'd be more inclined to blame the strategy or blame someone else rather than blame their own fault. And that's where a lot of people end up strategy hopping instead of sticking to one thing and that already has a proven edge. Yeah, so I think this needs some consolidation. DSY might have a pivot above VWAP, but I don't know. This is a super jackknifey stock. I think the right play is not to touch a stock that has a history of jackknifing on Friday. So let me open up my trader view here. I didn't import yesterday, but I know what that was. We had a great week this week. Did I not import the fifth either? Let me just do that quick. Trade. Where is Folio trades? 5th and the 6th. Export that. Trading that there. Close that out. Import some trades. Have a good one, Troy. So trade view. So we had a great green week this week, up $97. Today I think it's going to be a no trade day. I'm not going to take any more trades. Unfortunately, we had that $35 red day yesterday, or we would have had a nice green streak if I had traded CLRO. But up $97 this week is fantastic. One of my bigger green weeks. We had actually 5 green days in a row. Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is great. And so our metrics in the last 30 days are actually looking a lot better suddenly. Now we're at 50% accuracy with almost a 2-to-1 profit to loss ratio. Total gain or loss $140 in the past 30 days. Still being eaten by commissions, but that's fine. We're paying for commissions as we're learning. But overall now, we're actually net on gross and our overall statistics over $230 this past week, which is great. Since I started redoing my metrics back in March, so that's a good milestone to hit. Still losing on commissions, of course, but hopefully we can continue the streak and get some of that back. Trade. Let's look at the detailed win-loss expectations for our cumulative P&L. The last time I showed this on Saturday, we were going sideways, and now we're on uptrend here. So let's hope that we can continue going on uptrend and eventually exit this drawdown from our peak when we had that little bit of beginner's luck way back when I started in March. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully this is a double bottom down here on the cumulative P&L, and we can continue trading our strategy and making some progress. But that's going to be it for me, ending it with a $97 and $71 green week. Probably could have been a much bigger green week, right? If I traded CLRO on the 6, and there were a few trades that I missed here, but I'll try to get a recap out tomorrow if I can. But yeah, was that? I'm hopping off. Have a good one, everyone. Don't trade market open because of them. I get chopped up. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like trading market open very much anymore unless it's a continuation from a previous move and there's like a clean pattern before the halt. But other than that, I don't know. I think I'm good.
Gonna hop off here. Thanks, Phileas. See you next week, human. Take care, HSM. Be back at it on Monday. But if you continue trading, manage your risk. Till then, take care, stay green. I'll see you next time. Peace.